Hello everybody, my name is Jeff H. Malum and welcome to this week's video. As you might remember, I actually said that this week's video would be another lecture video, so the second or rather third entry to the lecture series of British literary analysis. However, as you might hear, I'm not sure, perhaps you can, I have fallen ill and I'm actually feeling very bad. So I still wanted to create a video for this week, but I wanted it to be a short video which does not need much preparation. So if everything works out and I'm healthy again in a week, then the next lecture video will come on November 30th. So I'm sorry for the delay, but I really couldn't bring myself to speaking 40 to 50 plus minutes in a row today. I'm sorry, you might hear that my voice is cracking a little, but I'm doing my best to still speak as well as possible. Also, once again, sorry for the lighting. I still haven't found out a way to do this in a better way, especially when it's dark, but I'm working on it and I'm taking in every hints and tips from you. Yes, my plan is to buy softboxes, but couldn't afford it at the moment. So visit Jeff H. Malum on Patreon. Okay, that's not today's topic, of course. No, I wanted to to use this opportunity to talk about the latest book I've read, or not the latest book, but a book that I have read over the last couple of months, and that is Casino Royale by Fleming, which is the first entry to the 007 James Bond era, and actually what created and what started all of this. And actually I'm oftenly very sad to hear that people think James Bond is just a movie series and that's all there is to it, while that is not entirely true, because almost all of these films are based on books, like Casino Royale, which is the first book to the series. Now, not all of the films are based on Ian Fleming's books, especially from the Brosnan and Craig era. Like, there is no book called Skyfall, there is no book called Spectre, there's no book called Quantum of Solace or No Time to Die, and there is no book called The Word Is Not Enough or Golden Eye, even though something in Ian Fleming's life was called that way, namely his estate. But especially those films from before Brosnan, they were all based on books. Like, okay, Casino Royale was not a film from before, but there's a book called Thunderball, called Moonraker, called Octopussy, called The Living Daylights, and so on. And there are quite a couple. That's all of them. This is Casino Royale, and it goes all the way to Octopussy and The Living Daylights. Now, the order is not the same as the movies. For example, Dr. No is somewhere in the middle, while it was the first actual James Bond movie. Yeah, but we're not here to talk about the movies today, but the book. You just realized I have Casino Royale twice, because I bought this box after I bought Casino Royale, and now I use this book. It looks a little used now, to take it with me everywhere and also make some marks and notes for the lecture that will be about it one day. Yes, I will have a lecture about Casino Royale. But now let me speak about my opinion. I just realized that my microphone is set too loud, but whatever. Let me speak about my opinion, my thoughts on Casino Royale, and I will try to make it as spoilerless as possible, but there might be some hints to certain story events. Now, first of all, let me start like that. In general, after I finished this book, which is also a great connection to last week's video, please watch last week's video, it's very important. Now, when I finished this book, would I say that I liked this book or that I didn't? And here I have to say I'm not too sure. But if it was a scale from 1 to 100, or 0 to 100, and 0 is not liking it at all, and 100 is really loving it more than everything else in the world, I would probably put it above 50. So more like a rather yes, but not too rather yes. So there are some problems with this book. Some are connected to, well, the thoughts of that time. Like, for example, there's a huge amount of sexism in this book. Like a real huge amount. That there were some words, some sentences, some phrases where I really thought, wow, I want to throw this book out of the window right now just for this one sentence, because it really has not aged well in that regard. But then again, it was published in 1953, and I think sometimes when you consume art, especially books and movies, you should always, or actually everything regarding art, you should always try to read it from the time's perspective. Like, of course, you should not give this to a child today and say, like, have a world view like this, please. No, you definitely shouldn't. But reading it while understanding these times back then, and that, for example, patriarchy is a thing and was even worse back then, you should be able to understand it in a way that it might not be too disturbing for you now. While of course you should not support it in a way that, if one would write another Bond book today, you should be more careful about these things, definitely. But I will not hold it against this book, as I said before, since it was published in 1953. But content-wise, there were some real problems, to me at least, that cannot be said sorry to, because of they cannot be explained with thoughts in that time. Now, Casino Royale, as I said before, is a spy novel. Yeah, I could definitely say it like that, and is written by Ian Fleming. It is set mostly in a casino in French, Royale. That explains the name. And this is actually where the big problem is. That this whole casino theme is a huge theme of that book. I will speak more about that also in the lecture video when it goes online. Now, it is so much focused and centered on casino things that I sometimes felt like it was more a book about casino and baccarat than about spies. That is for the first probably 150 pages. I think the book is like 230 pages long. Yep, 229 in the vintage edition. And the first like 2/3 of the book were all about casino, baccarat. Really, for the first 120, 130, 150, whatever pages, I felt like there was more explanation on how a casino looks like and how a casino works and how baccarat works, how the rules are there, how the banquier acts with all the players and stuff. And I have to say, I don't care about that. Really, I don't care about casino and casino games at all. At least when I'm not playing Yakuza video games at the moment. But apart from that, I really couldn't care less about that. And this was so much about that. And this was troubling me because when you think of Bond, you think of a spy story. And this is a great spy story. But then putting so much focus on on something that is only like the tool for the spy to get where he wants was a little confusing to me. And really, I didn't like it. There were parts when it really annoyed me how much Fleming was writing about this casino and baccarat and how that worked. Now I get it where it comes from. Ian Fleming himself was in naval intelligence, and he knew a lot about spy things, which is why he wanted to create the best spy story there ever was, which was when this book was created, or this character, this series. And the idea from the idea of James Bond actually occurred when he was at a casino on one mission, and people, him and his general, I think, not sure how the rank is called in the Navy, they were talking about, what if all the players in this casino are German and Italian spies? Ooh. And this is where this idea from this book comes from, which is very interesting. But then again, I couldn't care less about this casino thing. However, Ian Fleming has a writing style which, even though I couldn't care about casinos at all, it wouldn't let me stop reading, and it wouldn't let me stop losing interest in the story, even though, like, if there were 10 chapters about casino, and there was one chapter about the actual spy thing, and then again 10 chapters about casino, and then there was the end. Now, however, it wouldn't let me stop reading. There is a quote on the back of this book called, it's by John Batcherman, I think, and he says, Ian Fleming has discovered the secret of narrative art. The reader has to go on reading. And while at the start, when I read through some of these casino-ish chapters, I thought, no, not really. Then some hours later, or some days later, I realized, yes, he's right. I don't care about casinos, so why the hell do I want to keep reading about casinos so much? However, then there were the last 100 pages. And the final 100 pages were amazing. Tiny spoiler alert, this is when this whole casino arc, so to say, is over. And yeah, the final story arc, I have to call it like that now to not bring up too many spoilers. But really, the moment Bond leaves the casino at Royale, starting with that moment, this story really turned into something great, something I really enjoyed, something I really loved, and something I will keep in mind for a long time. I was surprised after reading this book for how different it was to the Bond movies. Now, I've seen all Bond movies like 1,000 times before this, and I'm mostly a fan of the old Connery ones. My favorite Bond, I would say, is Timothy Dalton, though. However, reading this book, I quickly realized that the Bond in the movies is a different Bond. And when Daniel Craig became the new Bond, I was all against it, and I hated his performance as Bond. But then after reading this, I realized how and why they decided to change the character of James Bond so much with the Daniel Craig era, because they tried to actually be a little closer to how James Bond was in this book. Now, obviously, there are a few books to come for me, right? For example, also the book my favorite James Bond movie is based on, which is Goldfinger. I'm very excited to read that, and we'll see. Maybe it will be different. Maybe James Bond's character there will also develop into something or someone that is more close to the older Bond movies. Sorry. But I don't know yet. And however, I understand now why they made these changes with Daniel Craig. Okay, but we're not talking about the movies, right? We're talking about the book. And I think I've given you lots of my opinion now. I will have to say I have this kind of love-hate with this book. As I said before, I love the style Ian Fleming writes. And I love the final few hundred pages, or should be 100 pages. Yeah, I think starts around page 130, so the last 100 pages. A little less than half, like the last third of the book, so to say. I loved that. And as I said before, but then there was this whole casino thing, which I really couldn't care about. But then again, the writing was so good that I wanted to keep on reading. Now, what else is there for me to say? Not much, actually. Would I recommend this book to anybody? Depends. If I were to meet someone who just barely reads anything, just maybe 3-4 novels a year, and he would ask me, hey, should I read a Bond novel? And he would be pointing at Casino Royale, I would say no. I would say, please, you're not reading that much. There are other books you really should read instead. If there is someone who's really interested in literature and literary history and stuff like that, especially of Great Britain, I would say yes, definitely do so. Or if someone is a Bond fan and he wants to know where that comes from, I would say yes, but be prepared, it's different. And if someone is interested in spy stories, I would definitely say yes, go ahead, read it, and please try to read through it even though you're not interested in casinos. If someone would ask me, someone who's interested in casino, in Baccarat, and they would ask me if I would recommend it, I would say yes, go ahead. But maybe you should skip the last third. Okay, so I'm not trying to bring a kind of rating up. I don't want to give like a 4 out of 5 or 6 out of 10 or 70% out of 100. No, I'm not gonna give this. These numbers were just nothing. But I think my opinion is quite clear now, right? I have a hate-love with it, and if someone would ask me if I would recommend it to them, it would really depend a lot on who it is and what their reading behavior is. Did I enjoy reading it? Yes, I did. But it took me a while to finish it because this annoyance by this casino theme was really making me stop at some point. But the thing is, I think this is a great prologue to the James Bond story. It explains, I think, a lot to why he acts like he acts, also as we know it from the movies. And this is why I'm very excited to keep on reading the next ones, because I really think that from all these Bond stories, this will be my least favorite. I might be wrong. We'll see about that in the future. But I think it might set something up that I'm really gonna love. I might be completely mistaken though, I don't know. So, yeah. I'm feeling like my throat is hurting and I should stop talking now. We will see each other next week in the second lecture of British Literary Analysis, when we will talk about Beowulf, so very old English literature. And if you are interested in more, let's say, a more academic approach to Casino Royale, we will meet again, because in a couple of months I will also upload a British Literary Analysis lecture on Ian Fleming's Casino Royale. Or perhaps I would choose another Bond novel, I'm not sure yet, but it will most likely be Casino Royale. We'll see about that. Okay, I have to stop talking now. Thanks for listening. If you have read this book, please tell me your opinion in the comments, or if you haven't and you have more questions about it, or if you have and you have more questions about it, please feel free to put them in the comment section below. I really love any kind of interaction. So Thanks for listening. That's all from my side, and read you all soon.